Welcome to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Let's Talk Cars Radio is sponsored in part by Napa Car Care Centers, BDG Auto Group, by Liberty Transmissions in Virginia Beach, and by Bob Barnum and the Perfect House team. Be a part of the program today by calling 757-222-3705. Text your comments during the show to 757-866-2192. Email your questions and comments to Dave at letstalkcarsradio.com. Now, here's the host of Let's Talk Cars Radio, Dave Palach.
Happy Saturday, America. You're listening to Let's Talk Cars Radio on WKQA Freedom Radio. I am your host, Big Davey P, hanging out with Cameron Chaos and Nate VB. Hey, guys, it is a great day so far for a radio show. Hopefully you guys are out there enjoying it. You guys are out there car shows. Hey, I'll tell you guys, if you didn't get a chance, I know a lot of y'all did that were here in the area, to get out to the Franklin event. It was a great event. Nathaniel and I were out there. God, they had so many sales and all the Milwaukee stuff, and they were good sales. I mean, now I hear all the time, like, oh, we're gonna have this big, huge sale and whatnot and blah blah blah. But it actually was it was good discounts off everything. A lot of people came out. I was watching people walk out with like just huge piles of tools. They had to go get the roll carts to roll. There was
demonstration, so you can see everything kind of in action. With everything,
which is probably, I guess that's probably the easiest way to sell things is. Put it out there, let everybody put their hands on it, play with it, like kids, you know what I mean? Shit like that.
We still got that diamond blade that we sold because we were able to use it.
When we were at SEMA, we bought the diamond blade that goes for your cutter. And, you know, if you guys ever seen it, is Mad Dog Tools, is that who makes that?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. But it was great, and it works just as well as it says it does. But I bought it because they let me mess around, kind of see it and see how it worked, and I
see the product in action.
Yeah, and that works a lot. But yeah, if you got, like I said, if y'all didn't get a chance, you missed it. I know they're going to be having another one probably in about 3 or 4 months. So you guys definitely want to tag on that for next time. But big shout out to Beeman and Johnson out there at Napa and Franklin for having us out there. We had a great time. Enjoyed playing the race game with everybody who raced against us. So we have a time trap game that we played with everybody. It was cool. So it was a real good event. So I know Saturday's event got canceled out because of the rain. So good news. It gives you more time to go ahead and save up a bunch more money. It's going to be August 24th, and that's going to be with the Hepcat Honeys. We're going to be out there. 757 Auto Events is going to be out there. They got the dunk tank. All the stuff we told you guys are still going to have everything all set up. Just rain killed it, so they had to pull the plug on it and move it. So just know that August 24th, save you guys money. That's where we're going to be out Lansdowne Common with that big, huge show. It should be a great turnout. I heard the fire department and everybody else is going to be out for that too, so it should be good. So
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyway, going to jump right into the news. Hey, so if you guys remember, and somebody sent me a couple different articles on this, and it's been kind of interesting. I've been telling you guys, I know we probably beat this horse a bunch, probably the last year. But I told you guys I knew it was coming. And not that I want to be right, but I'm right. The passive. This is going to become a household name probably at some point in time. Passive speed limiter. Most of y'all don't know what that is. So remember how I told you that there was certain cities and states that were trying to put together a bill and a plan to make car manufacturers put in speed limiters in cars. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically it's like, think of a big geofence. We've talked about it. If you guys listen to the show before, you've heard about it. Once you hit a geofence, the car will have to reduce down to a certain speed and won't go over that speed. So it will be restricted to a certain speed in those geofence areas. Well, California, of course, because we know California is crazy. They are going ahead and pushing forward with that bill. There's a couple other states I told you guys before that are jumping on the bandwagon. Here's the thing. This is probably going to turn into a real thing, guys. To tell you how much they're pushing for this, they are pushing for complete compliance by 2032. That's not very far away. That means 100% of new cars that are manufactured would have to have the speed limiter built into the car already. I mean,
it's not a bad idea, right? When we talked about it a little bit, right? We think it's kind of a necessary, action for them to do, and in certain areas that they're trying to, mitigate less traffic.
I think it's cuckoo crazy.
You think it's cuckoo crazy?
I really.
I think if you have a good structure in play and they don't, abuse, the geofencing, and they just, crack down on.
That's the key word. They don't abuse.
Right.
We overstep. Like, we know that our government oversteps everything, right? Like, I mean, just They just do. They always do. And this is just going to be one of those things. I use the stamp reference, right? I mean, look at what stamps started off at, how much they cost, and where they are now. It's like, or look at taxes. We're only going to tax you just a little bit, way back before any of us were around. And just look what it's grown to now. I see how we're going to overstep this and overstep this.
You remember Lime scooters and the Uberbird scooters? Yeah, I do. And they had speed limiters on them. That didn't last for long. People were finding ways to get around them and everything. So I can see people finding a way how to get around the limiters on their own car.
I'm not big. If you guys can't tell, I like structure. I'm okay. I'm not one of those crazy conspiracy kind of people. And if you are, maybe you're not crazy. Maybe I just see it that way. But I'm not in that realm of things, right? But I do have a real big problem where I believe that when we overstep our bounds, and I think when we crack doors open, especially when it comes to legislation, when it comes with cars and technology, that it always ends up bad. It just does. I mean, history. Somebody said to me a couple weeks ago, he's like, we just keep on repeating history over and over again. We just introduce
history repeats itself.
Well, yeah, I know. I've heard the term history repeats itself, but I'm saying we shovel the idea down the road just a little bit further. So if it was horses, then it became buggies, then it became, you know what I mean? Like, and they had to keep on implementing rules, and there's more, and we just keep on shoveling it down. And before you know it, we're so weighed down with rules. It's every rule. I'm one of those people that tell you guys every rule has somebody's name attached to it. Like that rule exists because of something somebody did. That's how rules in companies, everything. That's how it comes apart. You should know that if you break it down into pieces, everything that's there is because of what somebody did. That's how that rule became a lot. But this one, I don't know. This one scares me a little bit. I don't have any problem with geofences because I know we were going to use them for advertising and stuff like that. I told you guys about that, where as you drive, advertisement will pop up on your flat screen in your vehicle.
I think it's a good idea. I think it opens up doorways for, Tesla and cars communicating with each other, kind of, open the doorway.
I got
right,
you.
exactly.
We talked about it. I don't disagree with you.
So, it's just one step down that, we just got to kind of mark off the bucket list.
So do you think that there's going to be certain areas now that only certain cars can access and other cars can't?
That's what I wonder about.
A limiter on it?
I wonder about that because the way it's been explained to me is you enter the geofence. If the governed speed limit on those roads is 35 miles an hour, the car can only venture like 3 miles an hour over that speed limit because there's a variance of going up and down hills. So there's going to be a little bit of a variance, but that's it. That's as fast as a car can go because that's what the geofence is set up for. You can only go that speed in that particular area until you're outside that area. But what happens if everybody puts in a geofence? Okay, so now you got the city's got a geofence, and I decide to build a neighborhood, and I want to put a geofence for speed limiting in my neighborhood.
Well, that's where the governance kind of comes in, right? Like how many people can actually access the geofence? Who's initiating the?
Well, what if can you build your own?
Right? Can you build your own? I think it should be more just a by state type thing.
Okay.
Right. And so it shouldn't be like how I think like the tolls. My issue with the tolls is that it's third partied out. If the tolls were kind of like by state wise and stuff, I'd be a little more okay with it because at least the money or somewhat is going towards the state.
No, and
not to someone third party.
I don't disagree with you. I
paid for my roads.
Say again?
I paid for my roads.
So look,
the road's already paid for. That's the problem with the tolls. We keep on paying tolls on roads that are already paid for.
Well, I was wondering.
My taxes pay for you to take care of the roads. Well, so don't tell me the tolls. That's what the tolls are for.
Now they're going to governor you on your own roads that you paid for. So hey,
I laugh because there used to be a commercial a long time ago, and I can't remember what car commercial it was. It was for cars something, but it was Dave's Road. And I'm Dave, so I thought it was great. And it was just one little, like you came to like where the HOV lane was, and it broke off into Dave's lane, and only Dave could drive on that lane. But I see that, and I start thinking about like, is that where it's going to come to? We're going to have like lanes that are going to be separated for only certain cars.
I do think. We already have bus lanes. We already have bike lanes. Okay. We already have electric car lanes.
Let me give you a twist then. Let me go ahead and twist it for you.
What's now stopping that? What's not stopping us from putting in special? We're going to have one lane for gas vehicles.
Okay, hold on.
And four lanes for electric vehicles.
In 2032, when you guys are all 100% governed on the new cars that you buy, and I'm in my 77 Trans Am without one on it, you guys are going to look like standing still objects as I go through traffic around you.
I'll be following.
I'm just saying that's what's to stop that from happening. I'm not saying I'm that guy. I'm just saying there's going to be those guys. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have cars that don't have a governor on it, and the cars are going to be stuck at a speed. And they're going to be the one guy he's just whipping through traffic. Whee! You know what I mean? How do you stop that? Do you make all the old cars have to have them installed? Almost like, I mean, and then you start thinking like a breathalyzer setup, kind of like almost the same kind of thing. Like, how do you do that? Like,
my car's never going into the shop.
Like, my car's never
going into the. It's
surprise! You went in for brakes and came out with a limiter.
Yeah, right. Surprise! Now, why is my car feeling so slow? That is going to be the conversation now. My car was at the shop and it's now going
now the limiter's
slower.
like integrated to a brake system or something. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, there's
that would
things.
be interesting.
Do you think in a couple of years we'll probably do cash for clunkers again? And stuff to get rid of all old cars that they can't control.
Sure. I hate that we would do that because cash for clunkers has single-handedly killed the used car market, single-handedly killed the new car market on the same thing, and you can't fix anything because you can't find used parts out there laying around. Everybody's
that's kind of the goal, though.
Used parts. Yes, they do. The used part business is huge in automotive repair because you cannot get your hands on parts, and you have to go to the slightly used, whatever you want to call it, slightly used.
But they were giving out cash. You don't understand. They were giving out cash.
It killed everything. It was one of the worst ideas we ever did. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, send me hate mail. I don't care. I'm going to tell you, from somebody who has grown up in the car world, cash for clunkers was the single-handedly stupidest mistake we ever allowed to go through. And people stood there with their hand out and were like, oh, look at all this money I'm getting for my car that I only could have got $300 for, and they got $6,000 for it. Great. But move forward, and we are paying for it now. We've been paying for it for a couple of years. You cannot find parts to anything. Nobody has it. They're not mass producing because take a look. You take a look at all the different cars over the last 15 years. I can name probably 10 of them right off the top of my head that were out there that you do not see on the road anymore. You just don't see them. They're nowhere to be found. There was thousands and hundreds of thousands out there all over the road. You pulled a stoplight.
You wish you didn't see them.
Right, you're right. There were so many of them. You pulled a stoplight, and there's like 7 of them at a stoplight with you, and you don't see them at all. Why? Cash for clunkers killed all of that. That was a used car market. And the thing about it is people don't understand. There is like 5 tiers, okay? And I've told you guys this before. If you listen to shows years and years ago, we had a conversation about this.
A match.
There is, man. You lit a match with me because it makes me angry. There's 5 tiers of used cars, right? So you have slightly used car, and then it goes down to the next dealership. That dealership sells the used car. Then there's the next dealership. That guy sells the really used car. And then they have the it should have been scrapped a long time ago lot, and it's still being sold to somebody. The good thing about it is it kind of did away with that 5th tier lot a little bit and got rid of it. But if you look, in this segment this week, we are talking about used car shopping because unfortunately I am back to looking for a used car again because Hunter's now going to be driving. So I've been steadily looking. We're going to talk about it. I hate using the word hate, but I highly dislike the used car market right this second. Whether you're trying to buy from a dealership or you're trying to buy from a private owner, it is awful. It's absolutely awful. It is the worst experience you can ever have. It probably ranks right up there with going to the dentist. I would say right up there side by side, which I got to go to soon. I'm not looking forward to either. But
it is closely related to pulling teeth.
It is. It absolutely is. It makes no sense. I know what something's worth. You're not going to convince me any otherwise just because you got to sit on a lot or you're selling it out of your driveway. I know what that car's worth. I don't care what the market's trying to tell you it's worth. It's not worth that. People are selling cars with 169,000 miles on them. They're trying to get $6,000 for them. I'm like, the car's done. That car is completely. Why do you even have the car up for sale?
This is what we call a beater car, and a beater car is now worth $6,000.
No, that's your winter car.
The winter car is the beater car.
It is the winter car. It's your winter car. If you guys haven't caught that episode, go check it out. But I'm just telling you, I cringe every time I have to dive into the used car market. And everybody's like, well, just go buy them a brand new car. No, I didn't buy these 2 brand new cars when we did it. We're not buying brand new cars right off the bat because here's the thing. Things are going to happen. Things are going to get bumped and binged, and it's going to happen. And
it's not worth putting full coverage on something that's not.
It's really, really not. Hey, guys, hold on for a second. I got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll jump a little bit more into this. I'll tell you guys some of my experiences of the used car market this last couple of weeks, and I'm not enjoying it. Hold tight. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Dave Palach on Let's Talk Cars Radio. Dave will be right back. Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow & Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949. Residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow & Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow & Sons, Incorporated.
Something really cool happened in 1975. And no, it wasn't the beginning of the disco era. Congress passed the Magnuson-Moss Act, so you don't have to take your vehicle back to your dealer to keep your vehicle manufacturer's warranty in effect. Our Napa Auto Care Center uses the proper replacement parts and procedures to keep that warranty valid. Visit our independently owned Napa Auto Care Center today.
Hey guys, you asked for it and I delivered. Check out our all-star team of automotive specialists at NapaBDGHRVA.com. That's NapaBDGHRVA.com. Talk to you soon.
Hey Dave.
What?
Hey Dave.
What?
I've got a secret.
What are you, 12?
No, I'm just excited to announce Liberty Transmission is headed to the future.
You didn't buy a DeLorean, did you?
No, but we did get a brand new building. That's right, people. Liberty Transmission is moving to 3041 Holland Road to better serve the community. Check out our website for updates or give us a call at 757-233-3131. That's right, 233-3131. And remember, my name is on every transmission.
There's no place like home. Home is where the heart is. Home sweet home. Like every movie, book, and song, every story has a beginning and end. Let your story start today. Call Bob Barnum today at the Perfect House Team with the Real Estate Group.
Bob here from the Perfect House Team. From beginning to end, I'm ready to help you write your story. Call me today at 757-464-1003. That's 757-464-1003.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Now, back to your host, Dave Palach.
Hey guys, welcome back. So, in the first segment, I was telling you guys about how much I just really dislike shopping for a used car. Well, like I said, I'm back to looking for a used car again. Everybody's like, well, Dave, you know everybody, this shouldn't be hard. It is hard. Here's the thing. I don't particularly like to shop from people that I know, if that makes sense, because I'm looking for a deal and they're looking to make money. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm a little cheap. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like buying cheap. That's the reason why I usually buy cars that need to be fixed. They need something because I know I can buy them for.
Let's be honest. Everybody just points the finger, so it's kind of like it's just better just to keep it, strictly business.
Yeah, no. Right. So it's hard to buy from somebody you know. I got a lot of friends that own car dealerships. I'm sure I could go down and get a good deal, and I know they wouldn't give me a bad car or whatever like that. But I like a good deal, and I know a lot of times if I buy a car at a car lot, I'm not gonna get a good deal. Right this second, cars on car lots are ridiculously priced. I'll give you an instance. So as you guys know, I think for first cars, I kind of like Hondas for a kid's first car. I told you guys Honda, Toyotas kind of stay in that thing. So, and I even ventured out a little bit, looked into a little bit of Lexuses because it's basically just, hyped up Toyota. But, I'm kind of looking at everything that's out there and I'm looking for a certain year range. I'm looking for certain miles. I don't want to have a whole lot of miles on it. So I'm a little particular when it comes to it. But what people are getting for cars, like I was expressing in the first segment, is absolutely just ridiculous. I mean, so if I had to rebuy Nathaniel's first car, right this second, I pay almost $6,000 for it. That's what they're going for. If you guys remember, he had a Honda Civic. You pay $6,000 for a Honda Civic when just 4 or 5 years ago, at $2,000, you'd have had the exact same car. And I mean the exact same car.
All day, $2,000.
For $2,000. Okay, move on to Cameron's car, okay? The couple cars he's had, and he's had quite a few. If you start off with his first one.
Did you just try to wait after I had to mute my mic to talk about me? Wow.
His first one, I think I paid $3,800 for the first car. and
the tree took it out.
So then we had the second car, and I think I paid close to that, about $38 for the second one. That car right this second would cost those two cars. So if you bought the first one, if you bought the Jeep would cost you right this about $6,700 right this second, which is absolutely insane.
And even back then, they were kind of high priced because they were low mileage.
Well, they were, because I always go for low mileage cars.
One owner cars too.
Right? Yeah, I'm a one owner guy.
And just to again say that it wasn't all my fault. Second car got taken out by a van.
Somebody running a stoplight.
Running a stoplight.
But
still, let's start counting it up.
We had to go back through and find another car. We keep on every time we found them a good car. And look, finding one-owner cars that have low miles on is not easy.
Hard.
It is hard, and I'm constantly searching. And a lot of times they come to me through somebody who knows somebody. They're like, hey, I know somebody's got one. They're getting ready to get rid of it. I'm like, what is it? And they'll tell me. I'm like, how many miles? The miles fit within range. They're like, and they're the original owner. I'm like, okay, now I definitely want to go see it. So. And those deals are still out there. Just like when people don't believe there isn't barn finds out there anymore, there's still barn finds out there. I mean, you can find good cars, but it takes work to find them. I cannot stand like going on to the marketplace and all that kind of stuff, because first of all, I don't know what happened to the salesman approach. There is none. I know what I got. Don't try to talk me down. Don't call me between every hour of the day except for 1 hour. I mean,
half
all the
of
different
them are
weird
dealer
things.
cars too.
Right.
And
Right. Now it's
it's
loaded
still
with dealer
up for
cars.
sale.
Yeah, half of them are people just driving, and they've gotten bold. They'll go take it to somebody's front yard
and take
go
a picture. They find out it's a dealer.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, well, meet up, and you look up that
Well, they
address.
take it home, I think is what they do. Yeah,
I think
they
so
take it
too.
home.
I love the post where it's like more photos for those that are interested, and you're like, but you're selling it on the market. You might as well just throw the pictures up.
I don't understand. Yeah. I got 2 pictures of this car. They're the worst pictures. Or people who are too lazy to move the car. Like they take a picture and it's parked next to 2 other cars, so you can't even see the side of the car. They had to take a front picture and a back picture. And then they want outrageous money for it. And then they try to give you this long speech about, don't be sending me questions about it. I'm not answering nothing. You see what you see. You get what you get. I'm like, what?
How about the people that post like a billion photos? They post a big paragraph, but it's nothing important. They don't post like how many miles, are on the car.
They tell you everything about the car except no miles.
On the car, like miles.
It tells you how you got it.
Yep, just says like a whole story of why they're getting rid of it.
I have literally answered 5 different ads within the last 2 weeks on cars. How many people do you think got back to me?
0.
0 people out of the 5 people the cars were up for. I'm like, hey, see, you got the car for sale. I like to go ahead and come see it. Tell me a little bit more about it. Well, you know what we can do? Nothing. 0 response.
Another thing I don't like, when they do message back, right? And you start asking questions, and then they realize you're a car person, and they're
they
like,
don't want to answer it.
They're just like,
yeah, they ghost you. They ghost you. So, right. As soon as you know too much, as soon as you ask too many questions, like, so what can you tell me about the car? It's a car. Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. How many miles are on it? I'm not real sure right this second. If you're driving it, you should know how many miles are on it. Then you start. So then you really
what
start.
What was the recent repair you had to do on it?
Right.
Going. Where are you looking?
Why are you getting rid of it? It's one of the questions I ask. Why are you parting ways with it? I ask that question all the time. It's a legitimate question, I think, to ask them. Why are you deciding not to have this vehicle in your life anymore?
I like the answer. Like
ghost.
You know when people are like, "We just got a new car. It's just sitting to the side. Might as well get it out of the lot." You're like, "That's a car I want." That might be a car I want.
If it's the truth.
If it's the truth. If it's the truth.
You know what I mean?
It kind of reminds me of the Matilda moment where the guy comes in. He's a used car person.
Yeah, I remember.
He's like, add up these numbers. I bought this car for $900. I sold it for a whopping $7,000.
No, it's good movie. It is. It's literally. It pains me so much every time. I don't like the process. I think I've told you guys that many times. That's probably the reason why I look for broken cars, because a lot of times broken car, it is what it is. Like, I just need to go out there, take a look at what's really broken, spin it over. Does the story match up with what's supposed to be broken? And a lot of times it doesn't, by the way. They try to pull wool over your eyes. I can quickly pretty much tell. If you tell me, well, it just needs a starter and maybe a set of tires, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and dig in this for a second, because I'm going to tell you if it really needs a starter or not. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden people get real sketched out, because it's not hard to determine if a car just needs a starter. If the engine's locked up, that's a whole other story. You know what I mean? Like, if you just had a starter, it'd run just fine.
Real quick, while you're talking about that. So my friend was just buying a car, and I told him, I was like, I can come out there, I can bring the scanner. He's like, it doesn't have any
I'm not going to put him on blast, but we were having the conversation last week about it. Right.
But he was like, it doesn't have no lights on it. I told him, and tell me if this is true, because I know a little bit about cars, but I don't know much, right? Can't I hook a scanner up to the car and it will tell me all of the previous codes that's ever showed?
Yes and no. If he was smart enough to clear the history, a lot of times you're not going to see anything because the history's gone. If he just cleared the code and there's certain cars that still will hold some history on the backside. If you clear the code, but you can still see what was back there. But if you didn't go and clear everything out, then yes,
you got to kind of wait for time to for the codes to pop up.
Right.
Well, that's what I was wondering, like, if there was like a way where you could go into like the car, because like I've always wondered and like always wondered, like, could we do stuff
to get away from that? Like sometimes I can tell you how to do that. So if you go to buy a car and you assume, because most people are very smart nowadays and they just turn off the check engine lights when you come, take the car for a nice long ride. Hopefully the guy's smart enough, well, hopefully you get lucky enough, I should say, that you get to ride in it without the owner in it. Take it for a nice long ride, get the car hot, and cycle that key about 50 times. That means go find a parking lot, turn that key off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on, and keep on restarting the car. Because after so many cycles, if it had a check engine light and it's got a problem, it's going to pop that light right back on, and then you're going to know. What ends up happening is sometimes it takes 12, 13, sometimes more key cycles for that light to come on. He just cleared it. He clears it every single time somebody comes out to come take a look at the car. You get it, you think everything's good, you go down the road, sales final, and then about the third or fourth day you decide to take that car, like let's say you drove it home, you put it in your driveway, you get up in the morning, you go to work in it, or whatever, you decide to drive to DMV, get all the paperwork straight, the light hasn't come on, and now you had the car for a couple of days and all of a sudden the light pops on. It's because the code was cleared and it took so many key cycles for it to turn it back on again. It's unfortunately it's what people do. They just do it.
Well, all right. Well,
so to answer your question, you can, but it's not a guarantee.
But not a guarantee.
Right,
okay.
There is.
Yeah, because I was like, man, just hook up a computer.
How many times have you guys gone out when we go to look for a used car and I take my scanner with me? I take my scanner with me for a reason. If anybody doesn't want me to plug into it, I have no interest in buying the car. What are you hiding? It's not going to hurt the car for me to plug into it. What are you hiding? I just want to know. I want to see what's there. I'm smart enough to know that you can go down to AutoZone and have them clear it for you, or you can buy yourself a little $50 scanner nowadays and plug it in and clear your codes out. I know that. I mean, let's just be honest. Like I said, I go out and look for cars that are broken for a reason. A lot of times I'm looking for ones with bad transmissions in them or blown head gaskets and stuff like that. Things that I know I can quickly fix.
Couple banged up body panels.
Yeah, we bought a couple that had some body panels. I took over the body guy and let him get it fixed. For the most part, I'm trying to leave. I don't ever want to really mess with the body unless I have to. But if you got a blown head gasket, it's a weekend in the garage. I'm going to put a head gasket in it and be called a day. If it's a transmission, pretty easy. We're going to get transmission out, fix it, put the transmission back in it. So I'm looking particularly for those type of cars a lot of times because I can buy an expensive car that normally would cost me, say, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for it's a used car. That's a lot for a used car that's decent. And I can buy it for a couple $1,000s. Put my time and energy in it, and now I got a $10,000 car that I maybe have $3,500 wrapped up in. That's it. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. And if you have that knowledge, great on you. If you don't, find somebody who does that might be able to help you, and you can score a good car that way. But you got to be willing to put the effort and the time in to do it. I'm a little different. I have the space inside my garage, and I have a lift. Most people don't have that. And I got all the tools I need and the knowledge. So I can maneuver in that world a lot easier than most people can, and I understand that. But most of us are either car guys listen to the show or people listen to the show because they just enjoy the show because it's knowledgeable. You will know somebody that might be able to help you get over that hurdle. Maybe it doesn't need all that stuff. Maybe it just needs all brakes and it's done on it and stuff like that. It's not hard to do brakes, guys. I mean, if you've never done brakes before, just YouTube it real quick. I mean, literally, you can pretty much do most brake stuff yourself pretty quickly.
Even with those tools and that lift, we still take our cars to our Napa shops.
We do, yeah. Here's the thing, guys. My time is my money. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times I take my car to one of the Napa shops and let them go ahead and do the work because I trust them. You guys know that's the reason why they're sponsoring the show. I know I can take it to anyone that's that's on our list and get great service and have the car taken care of. And sometimes it's just quicker to let them do the brakes for me real quick than do it myself. So keep that in mind. Hey guys, I got to take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to jump into it. HOAs. We've talked about this a little bit, but this one's kind of crazy. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Dave Palach on Let's Talk Cars Radio. Dave will be right back.
Hey, Dave.
What?
Hey, Dave.
What?
I've got a secret.
What are you, 12?
No, I'm just excited to announce Liberty Transmission is headed to the future.
You didn't buy a DeLorean, did you?
No, but we did get a brand new building. That's right, people. Liberty Transmission is moving to 3041 Holland Road to better serve the community. Check out our website for updates, or give us a call at 757-233-3131. That's right, 233-3131. And remember, my name is on every transmission.
There's something special about Napa Auto Care Centers. They're backed by the national strength of Napa. Nationwide warranties honored by thousands of locations. You know that's Napa know-how. But more importantly, your Napa Auto Care Center is independently owned and operated by neighborhood professionals who operate by a written code of ethics. Put your vehicle in the hands of ASE certified technicians who will greet you with a smile you can trust. Visit us today.
You heard me say it, and now here's your chance. Now's the time to go find your auto garage. Don't wait until it's too late. Go to NapaBDGHRVA.com and find your all-star car care center today. That's NapaBDGHRVA.com. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, Dave from Let's Talk Cars Radio. So for the last 2 years, if you listen to the show, you've heard me talk about my dream house. It has been a great experience buying land, building my house, even selling my old house. One thing I didn't tell you about was the real estate agent that I used. I used Bob Bardem from the Perfect House team in the real estate group. It's been one of the best experiences I've ever had. Bob has been there for us from beginning to end and treated us just like family. I'm telling you, you've heard me talk about this because it has been one of the truly best experiences that I've had. If I did not choose Bob, I don't think that I would have all the best things to say about building this house. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, definitely give Bob a call at the Perfect House team in the real estate group. You can contact Bob at 757-464-1003. That's 757-464-1003. And I'll talk to you soon.
Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating, and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow & Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949, residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow & Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow & Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow & Sons Incorporated. Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Now, back to your host, Dave Palach.
Hey guys, welcome back. So I alluded to, before we went to commercial break, the good old conversation of HOA. So check this out. You guys know that if you're a car guy, I mean, you could be a boat guy, a camper guy, or anything, but it's a car show, but it all relates. Living in an HOA probably will not work for you. They don't let you work on your cars in front of your house. You can't have any project car in front of your house. I mean, there's all different kind of rules to go to, and we talked about it before. This is the crazy one that got sent to me. I've had a couple of them, but this is the craziest one that got sent to me. So there's an HOA in Florida that has just passed a ban on having pickup trucks parked in the driveway.
I don't even know how that's possible, because it's like we were just talking a couple years ago where pickup trucks are going to become the norm. They are the norm.
Now. They are the sales on Ford, Chevy.
You just guys want a lot of Karens in your
like I said, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, even Toyota. The sale growth has gone up because people are switching to pickup trucks. As we told you guys, they are like a luxury car nowadays. There's nothing you can't get in a pickup truck. So
what was the reasoning for banning pickup trucks?
They didn't really give a reason for it. They don't want pickup trucks in the driveway. Now here's the crazy thing: people already own your house. You already own a pickup truck, and now they ban them. So what's the solution? There is a parking lot, two of them, I guess. There's one that's half mile away. There's one that's a mile away. These people are having to park their cars in a parking lot a half mile, at least a half mile away from their house. And that's where they have to store their truck at. They can't put it in their driveway. Now, you guys know we've had conversations about HOA before. I'm not an HOA fan because I've had a lot of people write me letters or send me emails, every kind of stuff about all the problems they've had with HOA. I've even had a friend of mine, I told you, that who bought a townhouse and did not learn. I don't even know how this never came up. but did not learn that he didn't own the driveway in front of his townhouse.
Well, it's not a question you ask. Like, hey, I do own my driveway, right?
I would have never thought to ask that either. But after he lived there for about 6 months, he found out the hard way. His vehicle got towed out of his driveway and impounded because he didn't have the proper sticker. He just got a car and he didn't have the proper sticker. It's in his driveway, and they took out the driveway. And he's like, wait a minute, I wasn't parked out on the street.
So did nobody in the neighborhood own their driveway?
Nobody in the neighborhood owned their driveway.
Very interesting.
Right. Like I guess
that's how you keep an HOA in business.
I guess it is. But
no, you keep a towing company, and the HOA guy must have owned the towing company.
Here's the thing that I thought was crazy. He had a car stolen out of the driveway, right? Why he lived there. And I said to him, jokingly, but I kind of meant it, I was like, okay, well, the car got stolen.
Isn't that the HOA's responsibility?
I was like, is their insurance going to take care of getting you another car? Was stolen? I mean, it's not your driveway, right? You just park in it. Maybe their insurance should take care of that. He's like, no, Dave, don't work that way. I was like, I know it don't, but they should. I mean, but it's just...
Why doesn't it work that way, though? It's their property.
Well, because you got car insurance supposed to take care of it. But
it's their secured driveway, right?
No, I got it.
So you got to pay a fee for that?
I thought it was crazy that you didn't own your driveway. I didn't even know that was even possible.
Do you have to pay a fee for that?
I had no idea. What, a fee for what?
For parking in your driveway. Yes, I know it's crazy to ask that, but do you have to now pay a fee for that?
So in his place, you did, because you had to pay them money for a sticker.
A parking
be on your car so you could park in your own driveway. So essentially, yes, it cost you to park in front of your house.
And it was a yearly sticker.
It was.
Was it really?
Yes,
oh my
it's
God.
a yearly sticker. It sure was. And I was just like,
you forgot your
I couldn't imagine. Now, there's another neighborhood that's close to me that has come up in conversation a couple of different times. I don't think we talked about it on the show, but the houses in the neighborhood, I'm going to say, are probably between $600,000 and $700,000 homes. Okay, nice, over moderate home in this area, I would say. But in front of these houses are these big, huge, tacky no parking signs. On the tacky green staked-in pole that's got all the little weird bumps on it and stuff like that. And then here's this big tacky, this big tacky sign riveted to the pole in front of every single $700,000 home. Now, that probably doesn't seem maybe like a big deal to anybody, but first of all,
for me.
If I had a $7,000 home or $700,000 home, I don't want to be staring out at a tacky sign in my front yard. They're big signs.
Yeah, it just goes to show how much control you really have.
And I was like, okay, who would buy a house where and it says no parking on the street, so you can't park anywhere on the street. That's what the sign says. But the driveways only fit 4 cars in them. So what if you ever wanted to have people over?
What happens if you had more than 4 kids?
Absolutely. What if I own 4 cars already and it already takes up every parking spot in my driveway and somebody wants to stop by my house? There's no parking on the street. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was on a bike ride, and that's how I came across the neighborhood. And I was just like, oh, well, maybe. And then I went down to the next house. The next one had one. And I was like, then I started thinking, somebody built this neighborhood. Now, and in my mind, there's got to be a main house. There's
always one.
The house was already there, and they decided to take maybe their farming land or whatever and build the neighborhood. And they wanted all these restrictions. So I would never in a million years do it. And then just recently, I saw that people are building fences. Now we're out in the middle of nowhere. They're building fences around their yards, and so I asked one of the people I know live over there. I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "All these fences are going to the yard." They've now implemented in this little HOA area, I guess, that they don't want to see anything that's so if you got a camper or an ATV trailer or anything like that, they don't want to see it from the road. So you got to build a fence around it. This one guy, I laughed.
Did you see that? Yeah, I was gonna say, you see there's an article out there of a dude that in a similar HOA, circumstance.
Yeah, he
put the fence up, and then he painted the boat, which is basically what he was trying to cover up on his fence.
Hold on, give the backstory. So there's a guy. Go look it up.
Wait, what?
Hold on. He lives in an HOA, right? And so he lives in this HOA. And he had a boat parked in his second little driveway spot, and it's backed up on the side of the house. It's not a junky boat. It was a nice boat, but he had a boat. Well, they started complaining about it and told him he needed to block the boat so you couldn't see the boat from the street. So he said, okay. He went and built a fence, guys, that goes over the boat, and then painted an identical picture of his boat on the outside of the fence. So when you stare at the fence, it's a picture of his boat.
And I guarantee that wasn't in the HOA
No,
rules.
it wasn't. So and he's like, I just had to do it because I thought it was so petty for them to give me a hard time over the boat that I decided to be petty back. And I laugh and think it's hilarious. Go look it up, guys. It's great. But the neighborhood that I was telling you guys about, now want to talk about petty, people can be petty too. So I told you, they got to build fences around things, right? Just like this guy, he had to build a fence so you couldn't see the boat. There is one house that is put, I know he's got, because I go through that area a lot. I'll ride bikes through there and stuff like that. He's got a camper. He's got an ATV trailer with ATVs on it. And I think he's got a dune buggy that I've seen one time out there. He just built a square fence in the middle of his field because he's on like 3 or 4 acres, but they don't want you to see anything. This is what just blows my mind. It's farmland. I'm not much for people keeping junk all over your land. Look, I understand. I don't like it. I don't like stuff. But we're talking about, this is a nice trailer. It's a nice ATV trailer. The dune buggy I saw out there one time, nice dune buggies. These aren't junk. So he just built a square fence right around that fits everything in it, right out in the middle of the field.
But now it looks like junk.
So now it's just this weird square fence out in the middle of this field that hides his stuff. And it's funny to me. I'm like, that's probably what I would have did. I mean, I'm that petty. I would have been that petty too. But it's like, I don't know, how do you get to that point? Did you not know? You get in the house and you didn't know that it had all these rules?
But I don't think there's anything stopping them from changing, laws in the HOA.
I think they can just go up whatever they want as they go. Like I said, I mean, I told you, I had a friend, this is many years ago, probably about 20 years ago, because the kids were younger, that lived in HOA. And the way he beat them, he became the president, and he just went ahead and changed all the.
That's the way to do it.
All the rules about how he wanted them. That's how he beat it. And I was like, now that's smart, because he was getting problems about his vehicles. He had his wife, his daughter, and then when people would come visit, like, where do you park? There was no parking for anybody to ever come visit you. Like, the houses were right on top of each other. You couldn't really park on the street. Some HOAs have like a cul-de-sac at the end where you can park at the end of it and then walk down to people's house. They didn't even have that. So they just kept on giving him so much a hassle that he finally, I don't know how he did it. Somehow he became the president, and then he just started changing the rules to fit what he wanted, which was smart.
I always be thinking, like, even with like the city ordinance,
right,
even with the HOA and stuff, there's a house over here in the back roads that they basically have like a sewage storage unit that sits right in the middle of a $700,000 house. Right. And you always kind of like figure, like, why they decide to put it right in front.
You're talking about like their septic tank and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's all these like
probably where they were told they had to put it.
You think so?
Yeah,
but it looks like it's probably like city wise, because it's the city bricker mortar, building wise.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a pumping station. There's a pumping station, right? I've seen that too, and that's just.
But you just kind of figure,
I would never buy a house at a pumping station.
But it wasn't there when they started building that house.
Okay,
so you kind of like figure like what made them put it right in front of the house.
Maybe like I said, we're probably where it had to go. I don't know. Like, I can tell you that when we built this house, I was told exactly where my septic tank could go. It had to go in a certain spot. That's just, but like, it wasn't cooked. It's not connected to the city, obviously, a septic tank. But the placement was made by the city, not by me. It was like, okay, it has to be right here. Now the good thing about it was I didn't have to have a mound system here, so it makes it a lot easier. But still, I just don't understand. Like, there's certain regulations that go for everything that just blow my mind, and how you end up buying a house. And if you told me I had to have a $700,000 home with a big, huge, tacky sign in front of it, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I mean, that would have been like the first thing for me. And then when I look and see my driveway can only hold 4 cars, and they're probably going to tell me how much wider the driveway I can have. I can't expand it and go wider, can't do this. I'm like, nope, that'd be the second red flag for me. Nope, that's definitely not going to work. But every one of those houses is sold. But now I kind of hear coming out of the neighborhood, people are like, well, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, I agree with you. It is ridiculous, because if you want to have a Super Bowl party or whatever, where do people park? What are you going to go park them like out of the neighborhood, out in a grass field that belongs to somebody else, and they'll get towed probably from there too?
Which is tacky as well.
Right, it is. I don't know, guys. You tell me how you guys battle. I can't believe HOAs have this much power to be able to tell you can't park a pickup truck in your driveway, and you got to go park it at the minimum a half mile away. I mean, what do you do? Park another car over there and just keep on tag teaming cars back? I mean, how do you do it? I mean, you tell me. I want to know. I got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got some more for you. So you guys hang tight. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Dave Palach on Let's Talk Cars Radio. Dave will be right back.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, here's a pound of prevention from your Napa Auto Care Center. We'll customize a preventive maintenance package for your vehicle that will save you time, money, and hassles now and down the road. We'll ask, do you drive mainly in the city or on the highway? Plan to keep your vehicle? How long? And more. Preventive maintenance is a good thing that prevents bad things. Build yours at your Napa Auto Care Center today.
Hey guys, Dave Pilach from Let's Talk Cars Radio. Do you currently have a repair shop you trust? Haven't found the time to go to a garage for all your automotive needs? Check out the all-star team at Napa bdghrva.com. That's Napa, bdghrva.com. Let them show you what it's like to work with the professionals and make a friend along the way. Talk to you soon.
So you're ready to make a move. Whether buying or selling a home, you find you have more questions than answers. You're wondering if you're even asking the right questions, or where do you go from here? Stop, take a deep breath, even count to 3. Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. Every house has a story. Let yours begin now by calling me, Bob Barnum, with the Perfect House team at the Real Estate Group. Call me today at 757-464-1003. That's 757-464-1003.
Nobody remembers the name J.F. Whitlow and Sons Incorporated until you need them. But when you have a toilet problem, drains back up, pipes freeze, your heat or air conditioning stops working, then you remember J.F. Whitlow and Sons. Don't forget the phone number, 399-1714. That's 399-1714. Air conditioning and heating, and all plumbing. J.F. Whitlow and Sons have been serving Hampton Roads since 1949, residential and commercial. You can always count on J.F. Whitlow and Sons to get to you fast and get the job done right the first time. Located in Portsmouth and serving all of Hampton Roads. Those who know, call J.F. Whitlow and Sons. Call them at 399-1714. That's 399-1714. J.F. Whitlow and Sons Incorporated.
Hey, Michelle, thanks for coming in.
No problem. What is that?
Oh, Curtis dropped that off earlier this week. He calls it the excitement button. Every time you say Liberty, I'm supposed to push this button.
Liberty?
Yeah.
Liberty?
Oh, yeah.
Liberty?
Liberty Transmissions for the working man.
I don't know about this, Dave.
You gotta admit, it's got a ring to it.
Liberty Transmission, 233-3131. That's 233-3131. Better yet, visit them today. 5160 Singleton Way in Virginia Beach. 233-3131. Liberty Transmission. Welcome back to Let's Talk Cars Radio, your automotive specialist. Now, back to your host, Dave Palach.
Hey guys, welcome back. So here's a weird one for you guys. You know, I tell you like car trends and stuff like that. They tend to come back around and the new ones are invented. Like one of the ones I didn't understand. You ever seen the Japanese cars with the big, huge tailpipes sticking off the back of them, like 7 feet in the air? Have you seen those cars in Japan where they do this exhaust? Yeah. I don't understand that trend, but apparently it is a huge trend like in Japan. I mean, now that's somebody's style. They like it. I don't get it. I saw one here in America a couple weeks ago that was driving around. And they were probably 8 foot high tailpipes sticking out of the back, just straight up in the air, and they were chopped off like kind of watermeloned out.
I think it's a cool look for the right car.
Oh no,
like an 80s car.
No,
like
8 foot stacks sticking. They're sticking out of the back. Off look. The bumper is.
It's a different look.
Looks dumb.
I mean, if it was a drag car, okay.
It wasn't a drag. It was it was a Honda.
I know, but if it was a drag car, you know, like because you got to think some people have exhaust coming out the side and everything. I could totally see a drag car with 8 foot exhaust, you know. So when every time it pulls off and it does a wheelie, the exhausts are touching the back. But yeah. I can picture it in my head, you know, but
even if they was looking like, no.
It's a street car.
Trust.
But, all right, so here's the thing. There's certain things that are coming back that I kind of like. Now, Nathaniel, we were talking about it on commercial break. It's not his thing. The van, I told you guys probably about a year ago, I saw a movement towards vans. The prices of vans were starting to go back up. I'm talking like G30 vans. People are doing them with Toyota vans now, but all different types of vans. But the coolest ones I really like. I like the Chevy vans, and some of the older Ford vans look kind of cool. And they're
like the Scooby-Doo
every
van?
once in a while, yeah. But these guys are like laying them low. Like it was really, really big in the '80s to customize the Chevy vans. So look at Cheech and Chong had one. If you've never seen the movie, but they had one. It was all lowered out. People are going that extreme with crazy paint jobs, and it is making a round. Somebody had sent me a video. I think it was called Van Fest. Somebody correct me if I was wrong, but I think that's what it was titled when it was sent to me. It may actually have a real name to it. But there was like 5,000 vans that like for people like gathering, like it's coming back around. So then I was like, well, what else is coming back around? Like, okay, so if vans are coming, believe it or not, base-offs are coming back around. Like I thought a lot of that died out. but people are building mini trucks again with dancing beds and all kinds of crazy stuff like they used to have in the 80s. And people are looking for the old mini trucks. So if you had one and you've been sitting on it for a long time, it's got dust on it, people are finding them and then restoring them, and they're showing this is what it looked like in like 1980 something. Here's how I found it, and now we're going to restore it and do it. And if I remember correctly, Fast and Loud did one like 10 years ago. They found one of the ones that was like one of the magazine trucks, and they went through and redid it. But it's coming back around, so it makes me think that that's the reason why, as Nathaniel and I are talking about, they're digging up a lot of the old car names and trying to bring some of these old cars
lost
back.
treasures.
Yeah, like the ones.
Well, they know that they are going to sell. That's kind of like, I think, a big problem. They come up with a car design that doesn't really sit well with the community,
right?
And then they have to rework it.
I get it.
It's easier to go back to the roots.
I think that it's okay. So we and I were talking on a commercial break. So talk about bring back with the Silvio, right?
Yep.
So that's a big push for that.
It's a rumor. It's not guaranteed and stuff. But the CEO did say that he's all up for it if they do decide to kind of bring it back.
And then I talked about I saw where they were supposed to be bringing back the Celica, and I think there's going to be a big push for the Celica. And I think it was supposed to be released in 2025. I think Cameron looked it up, but there's no confirmed date for it. But would you think they were going to show it at one of the car shows or something like that?
Yeah, they want to. I think it's called the 2025 Tokyo show or something like that. The Tokyo Auto Show or something like that. You think they're going to show it there? Yeah, because you got to remember they came out with a Toyota racing team. So
FYI,
I think they're going to.
Toyota Celica was the very first vehicle I ever drifted in, ever.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, well, okay.
I think there's
told
nicer
you guys,
hatchbacks.
when I was younger, they were always building neighborhoods out by us. So there was always neighborhoods under construction. What we would do is we would go and move the cones around, and we would block off so nobody could get in. We go inside of the neighborhood while it was being built, and almost like close to the scene of
Fast and Furious,
where they're doing like in that beginning thing, housing neighborhoods like that where they're building, and then we would turn them into racetracks, and we would play. I mean, we'd get like 5 or 6 cars, and we'd race each other through the neighborhood and stuff like that and stuff. And I mean, I'm not saying it's a good idea, and I'm not condoning it now, but sidewalks were game back then. I mean, it just
my Fast and Furious moment
that's what it took to pass.
That I got to live was the warehouse moment. Where everybody's drifting around at the warehouses.
That's the reason why I kept putting tires on your Z car, right?
Yeah.
Hey. I don't know what happened to my tires, Dad. They just keep on wearing out. Yeah, because he was down there drifting in the warehouse district. That's what happened to the tires. But no, my buddy had a Celica.
Zoe was a fun car.
And, the rear-wheel drive Celica, not that it was super fast back then or anything like that, but that car would drift. And if the pavement was just a little bit wet, it really would slide around. I remember my buddy brought out a Fiero, another car. I'm talking about cars of my time, guys. You guys are like, oh, Fiero. Trust me, there was a lot of them running around when I was a kid. My buddy brought out a Fiero, and he ended up sliding and hitting the sidewalk and knocked the rear axle out of it. Yeah, and it wasn't his car. Believe it or not, it was his manager's car of the place he worked, and he borrowed it.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
And destroyed the rear end of the car. Yeah, so we were rough. We were really rough on cars, but that was like something fun for us to do. Then it was even got kind of crazier. Like I said, don't condone it, because then people start moving in the neighborhood, and we were still trying to use that neighborhood. So there was like maybe 2 or 3 houses that had been bought, and people were moving in, and we were still trying to play race car in that neighborhood. So yeah, I can remember. This is bad. I can remember front yards were game. It went from sidewalks to being front yards, like when you go into a corner. Yeah.
He said front yards were game.
Anything's game.
Anything was game at that point in time. Like I said, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it was a closed off neighborhood. They'd already leveled the front yards, and you had to hit that right-hand corner.
Man, I was just like you.
Hit that right-hand corner, and you can't fit 3 wide going through there unless you cut a little corner. I'm just saying. But it's funny to me, like I said, all these different cars that are out there, things are coming back around. Like, I'm excited about some of the fads coming back around. I'm not just gonna say I'm gonna jump on the van bandwagon, right? I think vans are cool. I know they don't agree with me. We were just talking about it before we came back, but I liked a cool Chevy van that was kind of lowered, had some cool wheels on it, had a really cool paint job. I always thought they were neat. But then Nathaniel, he said, okay, so you build it and then you have it, and then what do you do with it once you have it? I'm like, good point. I guess you take it around a couple times.
You invite all your friends to hop in.
Right. Well, here are the shaggin' wagons back then. So, but you go for a ride in it, you take it to a couple car shows, people like what you have, and then probably after a little while, you're tired of having it, you sell it. You just built it because you wanted to build it.
You pick up a couple
Didn't
Ubers.
the 70s show have a van, too?
The
70s show had a van
he
for
did, but not like
not like
I'm
that,
talking about. Like, my uncle had one in early 80s. And I remember him bringing it to the house, and it was, if I remember correctly, it was orange, and it had the metallic stripes going in it, and it had the rally wheels on it. It was cool for its time. Of course,
it was an orange van.
It was orange. He had an orange, and he had orange shag carpeting. It was like 50 different colors of orange in the carpeting inside of it. But he had like a little mini bar in it, all little cool stuff.
I'm just always curious, like how do you really use all that stuff in it? Like how often do you actually just go step out and be like, let me just go chill in my van?
Think about it. So Mac's a friend of ours, goes to a lot of car shows here locally, and his is a Dodge van, I think, isn't it? It's purple.
Yes.
Purple people eater van. Now he's got like a bar set up in it.
Yeah, but his is cool.
His is cool. Now, I never asked him how often he ever uses any of that, because I don't think he uses anything.
And he keeps adding stuff to it. But it is a cool van. I mean, he's got it decked out. I mean, I would have never thought anybody would take like a Dodge Caravan.
Because at a certain point,
it's funny you mentioned him, because I literally was just looking at his bracelet that he gave me the other day, the purple one.
Because at a certain point, right, it becomes a display model.
Right, it does. And
more
I think
than
that's what
the use case scenario.
That's my biggest problem with building cars. Okay, so over the years, I've had some cool cars, and I put a lot of time and effort into the cars and made them cool. Like I told you, I had one car where I had a whole rock stone dash inside the car, everything. And it took me a while to do it, but I did. I took the dash apart and made the whole dash look like it was granite rock. And that was something cool to do in the early 90s.
It was trendy.
It was trendy. Everybody got my car. I had it, and then I had it tied in where this door panels had like granite.
And then like 5 years later, you're like, why did I do that?
Actually, like 2 years later, I was just like, okay, I've had it.
He hit his knee on one of the rocks. He was like, ugh.
No, it was cool. Sticker. It was sticker lay on. I'm pretty sure.
It wasn't.
No, it was real rocks.
I actually took it, and
This man sounds like he took real rocks.
I literally plastered it, made the molds into it, and then I'd actually then sprayed it. And you used to be able to buy the spray. It was like a granite spray, and then you had to do a lot of stuff to play with to make it look real. But I took all the time.
I can only imagine the frustration, like when someone like pulls rocks and pebbles from your dashboard.
We always wanted to play with it. That was the problem. You're absolutely right.
Those crystal makers, that you have to one of those crystal makers.
You bejewel in it.
He's over here putting like stuff on it and watering it. He's like,
but that was a thing though. That
was a thing.
Okay, so you could buy this special sprayer that you could spray, and it would spray things out and make it look like granite. But you had to like form to make it look like the rocks. Like I did all that. Took the time. I mean, I just bought the car. I took the whole car apart, I think the second day I had it, and started doing this to the car because I wanted something different. And then, but I had it tricked out. Like my car was lowered, it was on a set of wheels, like all kind of stuff. I just wanted stuff, and I was heavily into, like I said, bass offs and stuff like that. I had a huge stereo system in it, and I was all into that. So I wanted something that stood out, and I spent a lot of time doing it. But like I said, you're right. After about 2 years of having the car, I was just like, it's not like you're undoing it.
It'd be nice just to have a grocery getter.
Like I said, you're not undoing it. Once you've done it, there's no taking it back off and going back to normal.
It was like that one car we saw where the girl made it all grass. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
The whole dashboard was grass. The whole outside was grass.
It was different.
It was.
But you're not going back. You're not
going back.
Once you've gone that way.
No.
Like I said, there's certain trends that I get, I like, and there's certain ones where I go, okay. Like I don't understand some of the large stickers on people's cars they used to do. Some people still do it, but
talking like sticker bombing.
People used to make their car look like a Cheeto box, and they used to make their car look like all these different things. I never really understood that trend. It didn't last very long. There's still a couple out there running around, but I never understood that. I was just like, why do I want to run around with my car looking like a Fruit Loop box? I just don't get it. But it worked for people.
Or like the Lightning McQueen. Some people do like the Lightning McQueen style.
That's a little something different, though. I mean, I've seen that guy's car, and he got in trouble. He had to change it up.
Yeah, a bunch of them got in trouble.
He had to change it up. So, but he still has it. There's some certain things he had to change. Anyway, guys, if you guys have a weird trend that I don't know about and I haven't seen, send me some pictures of it, share it with us. I'd love to see it. I think it's going to be an interesting topic that's going to go on forever. Not all of us all going to agree with it all the times. I got to go ahead and get out of here. You guys enjoy your Saturday. Sunday's right around the corner. Make sure you unplug, spend some time with your kids, light up the barbecue, play a board game with them. They'll love you for it. We're out of here, and I will talk to you soon.